Hump Day Fumble fam, thank you so much for tuning in to our live show. We are breaking down all the latest sports news that you need to know, including a star-studded NBA conference call that might be the push we all need to get the season resumed. Plus, we're going to be talking about a team that's interested in Cam Newton. So much to get into today, but first, make sure you subscribe to the Fumble, tap the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment below, let us know that you're watching, or chime in the chat. And of course, I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @Devin Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
I'm Jackie Ray, everywhere on social media at Jerry the Fanatic.
It's your girl Britt. You can follow me on all media at I am Britt Johnson.
All right, you guys. So coming up in our show today, like I mentioned before, we have that NBA conference call. We have the we have Cam. I just gave it away. We have Cam Newton, who might be signed with the Seahawks. I'll fill you in on the details of all of that. Plus, LaVar Ball is continuing to talk. My gosh, he's still maintaining some crazy statements that he made a while back. So we're filling you in on all of that. Chris, what's coming up on the post-up?
The draft is coming up, so you know it's talking season for LaVar. Makes sense. For post up, we got some players making fun of themselves. Spoiler alert is Johnny Manziel. Bronny making some ladies very upset. We're gonna talk about that. Like Devin said, there was a conference call yesterday with the NBA, and Morant took no time to let us know how he feels about this coming season. We're gonna talk about that. And Danny Green has the best sponsored ad video I have ever seen in the history of sponsored ad videos, and we will watch that in its entirety on the post up. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, you guys don't want to miss that. I watched it already. It's hilarious. Jackie, what's coming up for WTF?
WTF, we're going to be talking about people comparing COVID-19 to CTE, which is an odd comparison, but it happens. And then I've been telling you guys that I think Jordan would catch some hands these days, and now I have somebody backing me up. Can't be just bullying people out here these days.
And then Britt, any hints that you want to give us about Britt's takes?
I'm going to be a little nicer to you guys today. So you're welcome.
You're going to be We're not going to get the pep talk from Britt like yesterday.
No.
Okay, thank God, because man, that was rough yesterday. We got called out, you guys.
And I'm still giving him a participation trophy, even with the scolding that we got. I'm still giving him the participation trophy.
All right, so no miles were changed. I like that you're standing your ground, Jackie. Let's jump into our first news story. So this is the star-studded NBA conference call. So a group of the league's very best formed a united front in urging the league to resume the season. So Chris Paul organized a conference call that included LeBron James, Giannis, AD, KD, Russell Westbrook, Steph, Dame, and Kawhi to talk about the whole coronavirus situation, the NBA hiatus. And they all decided that they do want to resume the season, especially if they can have proper safety measures put in place. Woj also reported that the NBPA has been texting players, asking them their thoughts about this season, picking back up again. They're conducting polls to see where everybody stands. It's important that they do this because the players, along with the coaches and the staff, are going to be the people who are putting themselves the most at risk for contracting the virus, because they're not going to be able to maintain social distancing if they are playing games. So getting the opinions of the players is obviously extremely important. We also have Jared Dudley, who tweeted that he's eager to finish this season. There's a lot to consider here. I think that it makes sense that the NBA's top stars, the ones who are closest to winning the championship or those who are nearing the end of their careers, are going to be more motivated to bring the season back because, you know, they want to pick back up where they left off. They want to go out with a bang. They want to win that title, whatever it is. But there are players who aren't nearly or necessarily as valuable to their team. The younger players who may not be as open to risking their health and their future. So there's kind of a balancing act going on here. And Britt, I want to ask you first, do you think that the union will make a decision based more off of what the superstars want, or do you think they'll be weighing the opinions of every player equally?
Well, if we're going to go how the NFL did with their CBA agreement, the smaller guys won in that. There was tons of huge stars that came out and said that they didn't want to sign the CBA, but the CBA did get passed because guess what? The majority of the league is the smaller players. There's only one player, if that, on a team, so their voices don't think they get heard as far as like fans and stuff hearing them, but if they're going and taking a vote on something, it's going to be all the smaller players that actually make an impact because there's a lot of them there are star players. So that's what I think about that in general. And then I did want to point out that the NBA did come out and say, like, basically players have to be comfortable with another positive result coming of COVID-19 in the league, and then still need on to play positive results. So I think that's the biggest thing that everyone's kind of like debating and worried about in their head is like, okay, am I okay with saying that there's going to be a positive result that's going to happen at some point during this league in this season, and I have to be okay to continue playing even though there's been a positive result. So I think that's kind of what's weighing through all the players' mind now.
For sure. Yeah, they did discuss how positive results will come up and it's not going to shut the league down again. So it's definitely something to consider. Jackie, we're talking a lot about where the players stand on all of this, but do you even think the league will be listening to the players, or do you think that they're going to be the executives will be making a decision based off of what makes the most financial sense for them? Like, what do you think the balance is there?
I mean, I think the league will listen to a certain extent because they have to. They don't want to seem like the dictator that's coming out and saying, you better do, because, then the players go, even the players who want to play might be like, hold up, you ain't just going to boss us into a, virus situation. So I think they have to consider it. But at the same time, I think everybody, I know, like you said, there's a balancing act and there's some players that are concerned. But I think also when we kind of look at, what happened with Rudy and Donovan and KD, and other people getting it, I think we kind of see now that maybe we panicked. I mean, and I get that it was a nationwide panic, but when we talk about their recovery and we could have literally just isolated them and moved on, I think we kind of see now that, okay, a positive result doesn't mean we have to hit the panic button and bail out. So I think the executives know that, and they're probably just trying to reassure the players of that, but they'll definitely find a middle ground. They're not, the execs aren't just going to pull the trigger and say, you better do this, because they know the flashback will be there. So they'll find a middle ground.
And to that point, they legally can't do that. There's an NBA PA for a reason. They have to come to agreement with the NBA. They're not, the NBA is not allowed to just say, oh, we're going to do, you don't get a chance to say anything in it. That legally that can't happen. You have to get what the NBA PA puts, have to come to it in order for a season to begin at all.
On a lighter note, I want to ask you guys, who do you think was the most vocal on that conference call? Jackie, just tell me who you think first. Like, who do you think was the one doing the most talking?
I mean, it was probably LeBron, you know what I mean? Because he has, in my opinion, has the most. I mean, he probably wasn't the most vocal as far as like, yeah, we got to come back. But I think he has the most to lose. You know what I mean? Like, his career is coming to an end. And so it's a now or never situation for him. And you don't want it to be never just because you're not playing. You know what I mean? You want it to be, you at least want to go out there and get in the fight. So I think he probably, I mean, at least if it wasn't LeBron specifically, it was somebody else from the Lakers who LeBron has been in their ear and they was kind of, chatting it up. But I think the Lakers were probably the most vocal on that call.
And then Chris, who do you think was kind of staying quiet, kept their camera off, was maybe just taking screenshots?
Oh, it's crazy. I thought the most vocal would have been Kawhi Leonard. I was playing. No, and probably the person that was. Kawhi.
Hello.
Kawhi's that guy that was in there. Like, the camera was pointing at the ceiling. It said his name, so it was his camera. The thing was muted, and Kawhi had not a damn thing to say throughout the entire thing. Like, whatever happens, happens. I think Kawhi was the one that was probably just taking in the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's cool to see that these superstars are banding together and forming this united front to hopefully make some changes. Maybe that'll be a push that we need to get the games back up and going again. And now I'm going to move on into our next subject, all about Cam Newton. So yesterday we saw that he received that awesome gift. Chris, you talked about it in the post-up. And now he might be getting another present. The Seahawks are apparently open to adding Cam Newton to their lineup. So he's obviously still unsigned right now. His health has been kind of a cause for concern for teams, and with the lockdown, they haven't been able to conduct their own physicals with him. The Seahawks already have Russell Wilson as their quarterback, but they could be interested in signing Cam Newton as a backup. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler said yesterday, quote, Seahawks would be open to adding Cam Newton, but they wouldn't want to spend lavishly to sign a second-string passer. So, Jackie, do you think that Cam should accept this backup position, or is he better off, maybe taking a year off, building up his strength, proving that he is healthy? What do you think?
No year off. That's for damn sure. Because out of sight, out of mind, you know what I mean? And you're not getting the attention and the looks right now. So we definitely not taking a year off. I would prefer him not take a backup position, but at the same time, you can't just not be in the league. So I do think, over there with Pete Carroll and stuff, I think that's a good place to be. And if you're going to heal on a roster. You don't heal on your couch when nobody's thinking about you. So the year off thing is out. But yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like the backup option because we've done it time and time again, but there is a list of people who should be unemployed at the quarterback position in the NFL. And so it's troubling to me that now he's having to look at a backup spot. But I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to roll with the punches. So I'm not mad at, the Seahawks and the Pete Carroll organization, but Russell Wilson, that man ain't going nowhere. It's not like it's going to be like a Teddy Bridgewater situation where now he gets his moment to shine. He just going to be there, give us some good outtakes. Maybe we'll get some good sound bites like, y'all seen my mama, something like that. But we're not going to see Cam Newton on the field over there in Seattle. So I don't like that part.
Yeah, I know, it's unfortunate. Chris, do you think that Cam would be okay taking on that backup role, or would it be a tough pill to swallow for him?
I think he would be okay taking it. I don't want it to be the Seahawks because two things. First, I want to know how real this report is because they the same team I was talking about. They were considering bringing in Kaepernick, and then that turned out to be a whole
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, so I'm it's nice and everything, but this, Seahawks keep trying to get these like Steph Curry points by saying, "Oh, well, we were thinking about it, but we're not going to do it." And I'm not letting them slide this time. But as far as Cam being the backup, I honestly have no problem because Jackie hit roundhead. Like I'd rather him be a backup and be on a team for a season, so we know that he's on a roster, and then maybe something happens, he gets on the team or he plays at some point, rather than him sitting because the more time that we do not see Cam Newton, the more time people will have to forget about him. I'm sticking to my guns. I want Mike Tomlin and the boys in Pittsburgh to make that call. And if he's going to be a backup, let him be a backup in Pittsburgh, where I know he will actually get the opportunity to play because we know Ben Roethlisberger is not playing a full entire season. But I mean, like I just don't know how much I trust this Seattle report, and that's my only beef with this.
So, Britt, what are your thoughts on this whole situation, this whole rumor that Cam could be going to the Seattle Seahawks?
Chris, literally stole my whole argument. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Sorry, Britt.
That's to see done several times. They act like they're going to get somebody and they don't get them. We're not in a time where we can't sign anybody right now, so there shouldn't be rumors about it. When Jameis Winston got signed, he just got signed. We didn't hear anything about it until he got. So I don't want to hear any rumors about him going somewhere. Right now is time to sign the player. So if you want to sign somebody, sign them. You didn't get a injury report. Anybody Tua. Miami didn't get an injury report with him. They just got they went to his own personal doctor and they got one from his doctor. Seattle could do the same thing if that's their issue, like they've been doing with any other player that happened in the draft that had injuries going in the draft, or any of you guys have signed in free agency. Everybody's done physical. Their personal. Cam Newton shouldn't be any different. We've seen all the videos of him working out and stuff, putting in work. there should not be rumor. It should just be the Seattle Seahawks signed Cam Newton. If there is a rumor about it, then to me it's just not true, because you have right now where you can just sign a player, so just sign them. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The headline should be they're finalizing. They're hammering out the final details. If it said that, I think we could take it more seriously.
Right.
Yeah, like the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys, I'm going to jump into our third Need to Know News segment. So, Chris, your roommate's up to some shenanigans again. LaVar Ball.
You can hear it, man. Crazy.
You need to talk to him, because this guy keeps running his mouth, saying some crazy things. So he appeared.
Right.
To do all the running mouths. We have a show to talk about.
I told you guys. See?
Then get us some more sound bites, Chris. That's what we need from you. So he was on the Load Management podcast this week, and he started, talking up a storm, as LaVar typically does. And he said that he still believes he beat Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one, despite everything that we've seen in The Last Dance. He still thinks that Michael Jordan's too small for him. We're going to play the clip right now. So, Leo, can you put it up there?
Oh, y'all.
I just bag him in. He too little.
So, I don't know if you guys missed that a little bit, but it sounds like the audio was cut out of it. He just says that, I would still beat Michael in a game of one-on-one. He's too small. And then he also said that he thinks he could beat Zion in a game of one-on-one. And I have a clip for you of that. So, Leo, can you put that one up there?
Are you beating Zion one-on-one? Am I beating Zion? Man, if I can beat Michael Jordan, you know I can beat Zion too slow. I'm telling you.
It's too big and too fast. Zion is too big and too fast for you.
Too fast for me? He's not strong enough for me.
All right. I know that we all have a lot of thoughts on this. I will just go in order. Chris, you live with the guy, so what do you think?
Look, man, if LaVar's saying it, then it's got to be true. LaVar can go out there and take on Zion. Look, man, it's LaVar. They keep giving LaVar the platform, so he's going to say this. I don't know what we expect him to say. He's not going to sit up there and say, "Nah, I think Zion. I think I'll lose to Zion." No, he once said that he'll beat Michael Jordan on one-on-one. He's not going to backtrack. LaVar has never been one to backtrack, so he's of course going to double down. And then his argument's right. If he's going to beat Michael Jordan, he has to beat Zion too. So you know what, LaVar just out there being LaVar, and like I said, it's talking season for LaVar because the draft is coming up. So I'm not surprised.
Jackie, is there any scenario in reality where you could see this kind of thing actually being true?
What reality are we talking about? I don't even know how to answer that. Maybe in a parallel universe, maybe his doppelganger. I don't even know. I mean, LaVar talks so much. I'm gonna DM him and be like, "You want to come on the Fumble just to see?" Since he, I feel like he'll be like, "Yeah, as long as y'all entertain that I could beat Michael Jordan." So I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna DM him today.
Do it. Let's make it happen. I totally think that he would agree. Britt, do you feel like LaVar actually feels that he could beat Michael Jordan and Zion in a game of one-on-one, or is this all just part of his headline-grabbing antics?
Sometimes I want to think LaVar Ball is kind of like how you are, Devin, we see these crazy workouts and you're like, "Oh, piece of cake, I could do that." Sometimes I want to feel like that's how LaVar Ball is thinking, but I don't know. He just says stuff with such conviction. Really sounds like he really believes it. So, power to you, LaVar. Like, I know everything he says about his kids, he definitely believes. So I'm sure it's like, "Oh, my kids are, they come from me. They came from me." Like, so if they could do all this stuff, they learned that from me. So I feel like he probably does really believe that he could beat Michael Jordan. Maybe Michael Jordan and Zion have to have both of their hands tied behind their back with blindfolds on. And then LaVar, you got it. You are winning that game. But other than that, I don't know how he even thinks he could, but he can. He thinks he can. I really believe he thinks he can.
He definitely could have beat Zion when Zion was injured. Like if Zion was getting back, then he would have won. So I'm gonna give him that. There's injuries
even
that means
then,
he can win.
I don't know.
I'm gonna give him that.
One-legged Zion. I'll take one-legged Zion.
You gonna take one-legged Zion over LaVar? Oh damn!
Yeah. I would too.
Come on, Chris.
Yeah.
I wish I had LaVar's confidence. I mean, I feel like life would be so much easier if I believed in myself as much as LaVar believes in LaVar. So, maybe that's something I'll try and bring in with me through the rest of this crazy year because I kind of need that. Anyway, that wraps up Need to Know News, you guys. So, Chris, what is happening in the world of social media?
Yes. It's time for Post Up with your boy Chris, Quarantine Edition. This is when we dig into the social media of some of your favorite sports athletes. And I know some of you guys out there were big fans of this first guy we're going to talk about. And I don't care if you don't like him now, but we know a lot of y'all were Manziel heads at the time. But Johnny Manziel is back. And this time he's out here making fun of himself and his NFL career. But first, we got to talk about how this man almost died slipping off of this damn cliff trying to do a backflip. Now, I'm going to give the credit to him for laughing at himself, but this man almost lost his life. Like, look at this backflip that he attempted. I think we should have the video of him attempting the backflip. That's just his response. Hold on. Watch this backflip. Look at this. Man, slipped.
Oh no.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And then whoever posted, and if we go back to the tweet, whoever posted this tweet had the nerve to try to turn this into a funny. It's NFL. Y'all just can't keep laughing at the man while he's already down. But Johnny Manziel, as I probably would too, he went and he still laughed at himself by saying, "Went about as well as my time in the league," with the face palm emoji. Well done. But man, look, I'm glad that you survived it, Johnny. Look, I don't care how bad you are as an NFL player. I don't wish none of that on anybody. So I'm glad that you survived it. And I'm sure if you tried it again, you might land half of the backflip the second time around. Who knows? Anyways, moving.
Don't.
One more time. At least one more time.
Moving on to this next one. I am ready to hear what the panel has to say about this. But there's a TikTok craze where, all these guys like to post pictures of themselves and their boys, and then it turns into just them posting a bunch of pictures of girls that they're attracted to, and it goes to the beat and rah, rah, rah. So before we go any deeper into this story, I want you guys to watch Bronny's TikTok with his version of that famous TikTok. So here's Bronny's TikTok.
Bitch, I got it out the muscle. You wanna fight on tussle. I'm talking about
Beats fire. It's a beat, pretty much, yeah. You guys get the hint. It's just every time it goes down to a girl, right? Okay, so you see that video. It's just like this for any 14-year-olds TikTok. Like, that's the only people I feel like that are posting this damn TikTok. But there are some hilarious parodies where it'll be like characters from TV shows and stuff like that, and it's like completely funny. It's hilarious, whatever. But this one caused some outrage. Okay, now you saw those girls, right? None of which, and in the words of one of my favorite comments from his comment section, have any flavor. That's what the comment said. I'm gonna ride with that comment. The pigmentation is not very high for a brother, and a lot of people are upset about that. And okay, now we got a lot of comments of people going in. You see, look, no black queens. Bronny just made a million of girls' hearts because he's catering more so to the light skin and the white girls, stuff like that. But everyone's upset. People are upset about it. No dark skinned girls, blah, 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 blah. Now, we already know that this is a problem, because a lot of ladies feel like, men are going more towards the light skin than the black. It's a whole debate, especially on Twitter, and TikTok is just as, crazy when it comes to the comment section. So I got to ask you guys how you feel about this kid who has, his feelings for these type of girls on his TikTok. Before I move to you guys, my opinion as the man in this, I do hear where they're coming from, but at the same time, to me, it feels kind of crazy to be judging a kid's taste in women because he's still a kid. So right now he's just like anything that looks good in his eye, he's just going to be going towards that. So I it's hard for me to go full like, oh, Bronny, shame on you, because I still feel like he's a kid and he's just being a kid posting and goes. But that's my opinion. I'm the dude. That's just how I feel about it. But I'm very curious to hear what you say. So Jackie, I want to start with you. When you see the comments, do you agree with these comments? Do you feel like that the comments are warranting that they should be attacking Bronny on this, or is this just just a kid being a kid, or a boy being a boy? Not even say a kid, a boy being a boy.
I have strong opinions on this
I'm
specific
sure.
topic. which I am going to save for my platform. But yeah, he's a kid. But at the same time, if I was his mom, we'd have to have a conversation, because I think that, your mom is your first example of love, and don't nobody you think is attractive even remotely look like me. We need to have a conversation. But I agree with a lot of the flashback he's getting. Get it now, so you don't have to get it later.
Okay, I respect. Yeah, because honestly, that was my first thought too. But then I just pulled it back. I'm like, all right, look, he's a kid going through it. But I'm not against the flat, because you're right. He probably should be getting it now, so he can get himself right while he's getting older. But yeah. Again, that's my opinion. But Britt, let me take it to you. I want to know your opinion on this. We did get a little bit of breaking news. I'm going to drop a Woj bomb. This was almost a Brit's take. It wasn't the Brit's take. So don't think that I just dropped what the Brit take was. This was almost a Brit's take. So Woj bomb for y'all. So now I want to actually hear your opinion on this one. If you can give us a little light seasoning on what you would have said.
Seasoning. That's an interesting word.
You see what I said there?
Chris.
You see what I did there?
Yeah. But originally, I wanted to use this as a Brits take, because I think it's like a big topic and a discussion in the league with like athletes and women they choose to end up being with. But I did decide not to do it because of what I said about he's a kid, and so I don't feel comfortable really talking about how a kid like. And I did want to take because I started looking at guys in the league or whatever, and the girls they talk to or whatever the case is. And the reason why guys like D Wade and LeBron James date women that look more like their mother is also because they didn't go to private rich schools their whole entire lives. They didn't grow up like Bronny. He grew up in since the day he was born, his dad already had a bunch of money. His dad was already in the league when he was born. So he kind of had a different lifestyle than some other people did. And I think the schools that he goes to, he doesn't really see a lot of women that look like his mom. You would think because, his mom is still, and his mom is gorgeous and whatever. He would kind of, the Oedipus Rex thing where men always end up dating girls that look like their mom. That doesn't really hold true in this case, just because I think too, he isn't really around blacks as students, and I have sisters that are in high school that are both mixed like me, our mom is white and our dad's black, but the school that they went to is predominantly a white school, and they like guys, and so I'm I like black guys, but the school that I went to was a little bit more mixed than the school they went to. So I don't know if that kind of has something to do with it. Just you're around what you're around, and I think that he's just not around black girls at this point. But yes, I agree with Jackie that his mom probably needs to kind of talk to him a little bit, and
I'm sure she will.
Maybe take him to other neighborhoods a little bit. He needs to go hang out with some other kid, around some other people, because that's all I have to say. I can't go into it too much, but yeah, I think he just needs to spend some time. But again, at the end of the day, people like what they like. But I think he also isn't exposed to black women.
I think you hit the nail on the head with that. Exactly. It's what he's seeing, because he's going to Sierra Canyon, what I'm saying? Even when he was living in Cleveland, they were still going to, like a prep school, or they're going to private schools and stuff. So yeah, I think that's a very key point. But I still think at the end of all that, yes, Mama James is definitely going to have a conversation with her son. Moving on to the topic we were just talking about with the whole NBA and the conference call from yesterday. Woj later on, after the meeting had come about, he dropped a tweet talking about the NBA Player Association, that NBAPA. There it is. They are going to do a survey with the rest of the league, because obviously not the entire league was in that call. They want to do a survey with the rest of the league to see how everyone is feeling about it, gauge the opinions of everybody, to see if everybody is in on bringing the whole team back, bring the whole season back, bring this season back, like we talked about earlier on in the show. But John Morant, he said they had a link and everything. John Morant don't care about no damn link. He said, I'm going to tell you right now, and you can put it on there yourself. I want to play with the, with the steam emoji because he's ready to go. John Morant, I don't have it here, but he was also putting tweets of saying, I love Memphis. And he's just ready. You can tell John Morant's just, that dog. He just wants to play. He's ready to go. And he should, because to have the season that he was having, going to be rookie of the year, I'm going to say it stamped right now. John Morant will be rookie of the year this season to bring this team that was, missing the playoffs for a few years, 2-3 years now, and when people thought that they would not be even close to the hunt, John Morant and those young boys over there in Memphis did that. So of course, he probably wants to end out this rookie season. That could be one for the books. So to see that, I love it. And coming from the younger guys, like we were talking about, I love that. No fear in what is to come, the unknown of the whole coronavirus and stuff like that. So I think it's dope. Go ahead, Ja. But also at the same time, I wouldn't expect anything less from John Morant too. So no surprise on that tweet. Mm-hmm. But anyways, moving on to this next one, the greatest ad of all time. Now, I watch a lot of YouTube. So a lot of people either that I am friends with that are YouTubers or people that I watch on YouTube, they get their sponsors and they get their brand deals and stuff like that. But none of them, no offense to none of them, none of them can sell a brand the way that Danny Green did on his Instagram yesterday. Okay. Now I'm not going to say anything else, and we are going to watch this brand deal in its entirety because I feel like it's a must. So without further ado, Danny Green, sell us on Manscaped.
Fellas, if you live the life I have, you know that there's two very important things that you must take care of. And both of those are your balls. For one, it should not look like this. Fuzzy, hairy, just plain dirty. Don't even want to touch them. I'm sure the ladies prefer that they look like this. Smooth, silky, like a baby's bottom. Be sure enough, you show up to the bedroom with the dirty, fuzzy, hairy balls, they will end up looking like this before you go home. This shade of blue is not what you want. It's not cool, and it doesn't feel right. If you want to get rid of the dirty, fuzzy, hairy, and not get that shade of blue, be sure
here comes the sponsor.
Here comes 3.0.
Here comes. Hey, there it is.
Your balls will thank you.
Well done, Danny Green. Well done. Beautiful sponsor. And the thing is, the ad was great. It was funny. I'm sure there's going to be some guys that are going to be out there buying this after that. But the comments were everybody was rolling when they saw this. I first saw this and I couldn't believe what I was watching. I loved it. It was great. Kyle Lowry, Rudy Gay out there dropping laughing emojis. We got comments from LeBron James who said, I literally just laughed out loud. You see B-Dot there. You also saw my favorite one was Fred VanVleet, who was he was blown away by this. He's like, hey, nah, this check gotta be OD because they must be throwing a lot of money at him to be having an ad like this. I thought it was great. I think it's well done. You don't like it?
No,
I loved it.
No, I know that this is Danny Green. Like, I've known Danny for like 10 years.
Oh, right. Yes. Gotcha.
He's funny like that. Totally like pictured him doing this. Once the video was released a couple days ago, literally everybody that I know sent it to me because they know I know Danny, and they were just like, this is like, that's Danny. I like literally wasn't surprised he did something like that because that's his personality to a T. It is so funny. Like, if you guys have never even seen him pregame, he's always dancing around. He's like super goofy. Like, he's hilarious. This was Danny, like very almost like dry, sarcastic, but like super funny. This was like his actual personality. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, rookie year, Danny Green dancing routines before games were my favorite. With him and LeBron, all those videos, like every time they bring those up, those make me laugh. I mean, he still does it to this day, but rookie year was peak to me because he was. That's when you knew that he was comedy.
When he was at
UNC. He was yeah. See, there it is. See that? See, there's your boy. That's your school. Anyways, let's go from a W. We go to an L. Well, it's not an L. It's just, me and Inez Kanter. I just got for no reason. I just hate on Inez Kanter for no reason. Anyways, but this is pretty cool. I know we were against it when Gronkowski was talking about wanting to go to WWE, but Kanter, and this is no surprise to me because when he was with the Knicks, he had done multiple interviews where he talked about he wanted to go to WWE. He said it many times, but he doubled down. But he didn't only double down that he wants to go to WWE after his time in the NBA. He's also talking about that he's already getting offers from the WWE to go and wrestle out there. Now, I'm not saying it. He said it himself. So here's the interview he had with Shams. It was like a few days ago.
What does Enes Kanter want to do, and what will he do once his career is over?
Oh, I'm definitely becoming a WWE wrestler for sure. I'm actually
Definitely.
already have this offers from WWE, but like I'm like, hey, dude, I gotta finish my basketball career first. So like after my career, I'm definitely becoming one.
Oh, I don't know if that's breaking news.
See, this is my beef with the Nets Kanter, man. The way he react, every time he gets a little bit of love, he acts as if it's like, oh, whoa, guys, it's too much. Hey, whoa. You see how he did that? He's like, oh, they gave me offers already. He's like, whoa, guys, I got to finish my NBA career. It's just it's the love hate I got with the Nets Kanter, and it's just. I'm such a hater. I'm dead serious.
You're being petty on that one, Chris.
I'm
petty as hell.
petty with the Nets Kanter. I'm openly petty when it comes to the Nets Kanter. I know this, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's always like that because he'll be like, "Oh, no one loves me," but then we get the love. Oh, whoa, guys, he does that all the time. He did it with the Knicks. He's like, "Oh,
he's a perfect balance."
He's like, "Oh, whoa."
Perfect balance of love, not too much, just the balance.
Yeah.
Whatever. But all that being said,
I agree with you. Clever. A score.
No, but here's my.
Chris is
I will give him. No, there was nothing smart about him. I was happy when he left. No. Look, I would have broke up with him if it was a relationship. I'm sorry. No, but here's my love to Kanter though. No. I want to see it. I know we were talking about Gronk. I think he would be good for the WWE. He has that, he would be pretty funny. He'd be pretty entertaining. I think it would be funny for him. But yes, let's wait until the career is done in the NBA. Focus on that, and then we can talk about that after the fact. But again, we'll see how that goes because he's got tons
planning
of
ahead.
Whoa, guys. So he has
planning
so many
ahead.
Whoa.
Let that man plan.
Whoa. Let him plan. Guys, all right. And now
hater. You're just a hater.
A little bit of salt. That's what we need. We need to get like a salt machine so every time I say something. Anyways, last but not least, I gotta end post up with a question for the whole panel. I want to start off now, but Slam dropped this picture of a bunch of players who could be considered underappreciated in the NBA. Now, I'm going to drop mine, and I want to quickly hear who you guys have of this list. I think everybody on this list makes sense. I feel like Bam kind of sort of got his way off this list because I feel like this year people have been talking a lot about Bam as deserved. So I feel like he's not as underappreciated as he once was. But other than that, everyone on this list, I'm with it. Even that man, Spencer Dinwiddie, who loves to talk trash about my Knicks, I'll still give him love that he is definitely underappreciated for sure. But to me, it's a toss-up, man. There's 4 players that go in my head, but you know what? I gotta fend for the son of my roommate, okay? Lonzo Ball, to me, is one of the most underappreciated players. And here's the reason why he's underappreciated. There's a difference between talked about and underappreciation. The reason why I feel like he is the most underappreciated is because of the fact he's always going to be his dad is always going to come up, not his game when it comes to Lonzo Ball. And I feel like for a guy that's having such a great season, a lot of his numbers jumped up tremendously this season, but nobody cares about that because LaVar is saying this. Zion came back, so the alley-oops are nice like that. So I just feel like throughout the entirety of his career, no matter what Zoe does, Zoe can go out there and average everything LaVar says. No one's going to care about that because LaVar said he could beat Steph Curry. LaVar said that he can do this, he can do that. So I just feel like he is definitely very underappreciated on the list. All these guys, I feel like there's no wrong answer with this list, but I'm going to go with that. I'm going to put my fight in for my roommate because he's out there talking about other nonsense. So I'm going to talk about Lonzo in actual light. But let's start with you, Devin. I want to know who you think of this list of players. Who do you think is the most underappreciated?
You said me, right? You asked me first?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I'm surprised that you say Lonzo just because despite everything that LaVar says, I think people are starting to realize the value that he offers to a team, especially now that he's on the Pelicans. I'm surprised that you say that, but I think it's probably Bradley Beal because, I mean, he averaged, 30 points per game this season. He didn't make the All-Star game. He's had the highest scoring average ever for a non-All-Star player. And I feel like because he's on a team that isn't winning every single game, it's not one of the top teams, people don't recognize his contributions and he's not as appreciated. So I think Bradley Beal.
I think that's fair. I think it's the answer. Jackie, your turn.
I think Fred VanVleet is who I'd probably pick, but I also personally would say, just because I am like you and I have a lot of salt and I'm a hater when it comes to Lonzo, I would think that for me, I would probably say Lonzo too, because his game has evolved. And he's settling into a role that's a little bit different than what he was expected to fall into here in LA. And I think that he's becoming but I just want to go on record and say, check the receipts, because I've always said that I thought he would grow somewhere else.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
So I am glad to see that he is growing somewhere else, and he's humble about it. He's quiet about it. He's not, putting all it out there like his daddy is. But I think you're right. I think it's because his daddy is who he is that he's undervalued. So I would go between Van Fleet and Lonzo on this one.
Britt, I want to end with you and surprise me, please. Don't do what I think you're gonna do.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't remember what the list looks
like. Not the list. Can we throw the list up one more time for Britt so she can see this list? Like, there you go. Take a look. And can we block out Montrezl Harrell? No. Can we block out Montrezl Harrell, please?
No, I was trying to.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We love
I don't think so
Trez.
either. Okay.
He is not underappreciated. We love him there. I think Bradley Beal thinks he is underappreciated, but I don't think he's underappreciated. I think that's just something he thinks about himself, because he's always trying to be like, hey, I scored 50 points tonight. Nobody gives a crap. You still lost. I think the underappreciated guy is probably Tobias Harris on there, because Tobias Harris last year was definitely, hands down, should have made the All-Star team. We ended up, as a Clipper, trading him right after that for no apparent reason. He was the star of our team at the time. He literally won Player of the Week like a bunch of times and stuff. Like, Tobias Harris is so good. I think he's been doing well even with the Sixers. I don't think he's utilized as well as he was when he was with the Clippers, but Tobias Harris is like a gold mine. I think he is such a great player, and I love him on the court. He is very underappreciated to me.
I think that's fair. I just feel like, I know that there's a lot of Philly fans that are against that because they're salty that they lost Jimmy Butler because they paid him. But I'm a Tobias fan, so I think I like that. I like all the picks. I think everybody dropped a good comment on that. But sorry, go ahead, Devin.
Oh, I was just going to move on into WTF, but before I did, I wanted to have the chat and everybody watching to let us know in the comments who you guys think is the most underappreciated and underrated player on that list. Let's debate about it, you guys. Now, Jackie, what's weird in the world? Tell us what's going on for WTF.
All right, you guys. So for WTF, let's talk about what do you get when you compare CTE and COVID-19. In truth, absolutely nothing. But in Twitter, you get a strong finger wagging, but not just any finger wagging, from former Chicago Bears guard Kyle Long. And this is a very funny, not so funny back and forth, but this is, you see the tweet right there. It's from Darren Rovell. Now, we're talking about getting back to, business as usual. And he says, this is after, of course, Dr. Fauci has warned not for us to open up so quickly. And he's warned against us getting back to sports. And Darren, who is a business sports reporter, he says, this is how it's done. Players sign waivers that the team isn't responsible for them contracting COVID-19. Number two, all players will sign. They already get CTE with near certainty. And three, players who test positive stay out for 2 weeks. So this did not sit well with former quarterback Sage Rosenfeld, who on his Twitter, he calls himself the GOAT of the preseason. And he tweeted, he says, I'm fairly certain I won't have CTE, but go ahead and minimize our lives. And then Darren replies back, based on what? And then GOAT of the preseason, he claps back and he says, based off my experience, knowing how many times I was hit in the head, getting CTE has nothing to do with the willingness to get COVID-19. Your statement is reckless. CTE isn't passed to family members. Players or family can die quickly from COVID-19, not CTE. I could go on and on. So he tried to be a kind of like diplomatic about it. Kyle Long was not trying to be diplomatic about it at all. He posted this tweet that says, straight up eat shit, you cuck. And so kind of just got, nothing better than that one. So I think he kind of summed up that whole thing to me. This is so hilarious to me for two reasons. One, that is a pimp move right there, like just flipping you off like I got nothing to say to you. But I think they're swinging and missing at the point. The point is that the Journal of American Medical Association published a well-known medical study that says 99% of NFL players have CTE, 91% of college players have CTE. Y'all play anyway. So So since you know you're going to get that, and we can't even tell you that you got it until you're dead, y'all clearly don't have a problem playing in dangerous situations. So what's COVID-19? I don't know, Chris, do you think that this was a disrespectful statement by the reporter? And is this a great clapback by Kyle Long?
Look, I'm gonna be real with you. I completely forgot about the response until when I saw Kyle Long's GIF, because I think that was the perfect response. No, yeah, I feel like it kind of was disrespectful because I feel like he jumped. I don't know. I feel a kind of way about the way he jumped in, what he had to say. I mean, he's not entirely wrong, but I feel like he missed. Like, I feel like the whole thing just went over his head. But Kyle Long with the response, I feel like that was the perfect way to wrap that whole entire conversation. That was great. That made me laugh. I genuinely started crying laughing like that. I had to wipe my tears before he put me on the screen. That's great.
I love that. Do you think he's wrong in saying that, hey, you guys play knowing you're going to get TTE, just play even if there's a possibility of you get COVID-19? You think he's wrong for saying that? That's basically what he's saying.
But the comparisons to CTE and coronavirus, I think that was what was off. But I mean, at the same time, is he wrong though? Because these players do, knowing that there's going to be a chance that they have CTE. So the same thing with corona. I just feel like coronavirus that you got to be a little bit more careful with that because it affects more people, like you said. I don't know, man. This is a conversation to me that's like comparing apples and oranges to me. I don't understand what the comparison between the two would be.
Yeah,
it's a good try though. Right, it was a very good try though.
I thought it was, good. Like, look, he's saying y'all ain't scared. Don't be scared is basically what I thought he was saying. But hey, I like the flip off gift too, so I ain't mad at it. But look, we're still doing The Last Dance. Make sure you come back and check me and Chris out because we're going to be talking about the final 2 episodes about this. But I'm low key kind of glad that it's almost over because I am tired of all the Michael Jordan what ifs, or if it had been me, or if this was. I'm over it, and y'all made that whole edit about LeBron and all that. So I'm mad. I'm ready for this to end. But nonetheless, we talked about how much of a bully Michael Jordan is, and I said I didn't think that he could get away with that. I think players today would probably let you catch these hands. And Udonis, he's agreeing with me. He said, quote, Michael Jordan's approach might have not necessarily been my approach on certain things. It was some name calling in there. I'm just saying, if I'm one of them people Mike talking to like that, I might put hands on Mike. That's all I'm saying. I might put hands on Mike. So now I got to go to Britt on this one. Do you think he would really put hands on Mike? And if he put hands on Mike, because one of our users in the chat at the top of the chat said that Udonis is funny. If he puts hands on Jordan, you get an even more cutthroat Jordan in return. Do you think that's true? Look at your face.
Right eye. Stop it. Say
no hands,
because that's how it's gonna go down. Like, sorry, that would not have happened. Sorry, and if it was, sorry, you're not on the team anymore. You can't touch Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan cannot be touched. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I would love to hear one story about Jordan walked out. He tried to put hands on me and he walked out with a busted lip. Chris, do you think that would have ever happened name a player today that would have probably put hands on Michael Jordan?
Oh, Lord. I don't have an answer for that because I don't think anybody. But I think he would do. I think Udonis Haslem would do it. I really think he would do it. But I'm not disagreeing with Britton the fact that he might not. I think he would stay on the team. There's people that have fought with it would turn into a full out brawl. Like they would brawl because it's not. We know Michael Jordan's not going to stand down. But I think that UD's. If you listen to this man in some of his interviews, I did not know he was as thug as he was. This dude is an OG. So I feel like if he's pushed the wrong way, I think he actually would challenge Michael Jordan. And I think that would cause the same kind of respect that Dwayne Wade has for Udonis Haslem for Michael Jordan. I think it would just end up being a similar situation in that. But I think Haslem would. I believe this. This one of any player, because it is hard for me to find a player. I couldn't say like a Draymond. I don't think any of those other guys would, but Udonis Haslem, I could see that.
I definitely think UD would. I'm not entirely sure Westbrook wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? On the right day, Westbrook is going to lay hands on fans if necessary. So I'm gonna put Westbrook on that list. But that's all I got for WTF. Are you ready to warm up your vocal cords, Chris? Me. Me. You ready?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
now,
I'm ready.
Okay, all right. Yeah, man, you gotta get these cues a little faster next time. This is getting ridiculous.
Sorry,
Here we go.
I'm ready.
It is time for Brit's takes.
Brit's takes.
I'm not even going to comment on how you were just like holding your microphone right now, Chris. It's a little weird.
Hey,
he was like cradling
R&B singer
it.
out here. Yeah, that's why the R&B singers, man. That's how they do it, bro. Yeah, right. Hey,
I need some Donald Jones vocals next time, okay?
Right.
All right.
All right, this is going to be a quick one because I don't really have any like built up anger in me today, but I just thought this was funny because I was going down Twitter yesterday. I could not sleep last night. I was up till like 5 a.m. and I got caught up in Torrey Smith's tweets. This whole topic I'm going to be talking about today all started by me looking at his Twitter. He said, someone hit me in my DMs calling me broke because I don't have a fancy car. Financial literacy is one of my new life passions. I want to be able to teach it and not be selfish with what I know. Things have to change. So if you don't know Torrey Smith, really quick, time Super Bowl champ, wide receiver, played 8 years in the league. He retired last year. He was a pretty decent quarterback. Receiver, made a pretty decent amount of change when he was in the league. He went on actually to say in a slew of tweets, because he just didn't want to let it go at that. He said, number one, I can buy a fancy car, but I'm not really worried about it. It's going to stay dirty anyway. Number two, I have a personal challenge to myself to pretend my first career didn't happen so I can keep the same hustle. If my next career can't afford it, I can't afford it. Number three, my family's financially, so I want to show them that material things are cool, but they aren't everything. And then finally, number four, I got to work in areas that people struggle financially, so I don't want them to feel like having a cool car is everything. Some other things, like again, he went on and on like all night long, and he said in some other messages that he loves Rolexes and all that kind of stuff, and he thinks they're beautiful watches, but he's not going to spend $40K on a Rolex because he doesn't want other people to see his Rolex and feel bad, because really that $40K could have changed their whole lives and all this kind of stuff. And I this is actually what put me to sleep last night. This is what finally got me to sleep, because I was like, this whole thing started because somebody DM'd you, and really all that shows to me is that this guy is, because he said, again, this is a new passion that he's starting, is to be like financially literate and stable and all that kind of stuff. So I think he probably had fancy cars and had all this stuff, and he decided now that he's not playing, obviously, like most NFL players do, their lives slightly change because they don't really make that much money to where they could kind of, if they're living these luxury lives while they're playing, a lot of them downside a ton unless they've were smart while they were playing and invested and all that kind of stuff. But again, most of these guys are getting all this money when they're like 22 years old, and then they're dead by the time. Torrey Smith actually 30 years old when he retired. So they're playing for a short period of time. They're not making a ton of money you would assume they would be. And then on top of that, they're making it at such a young age to where they don't really know how to invest it. So there's a big halo, or not a halo, a cloud over the NFL that they always say 3 years after an NFL player is done playing, most go bank. So I get that he's not trying to be like this, but I think it shows that he's insecure about this new lifestyle that he's living, because he went so far to keep talking about I'm trying to be financial literate, and I'm trying to send blah blah blah, and my whole point is, I know we see this a lot with Kevin Durant and how he always cares about what trolls are saying. Y'all stop it. We don't. I don't really care about your life in this way. So what if you drive a Prius now and you used to have a Bentley? I literally don't care. I've always been big too. I talk about it all the time, about worried about what's in another man's pocket, because the NFL players kind of doing that a lot. I'll talk about the Steelers doing that, where they're talking about, oh, well, this guy should play because of this and he shouldn't worry about his money, blah, blah, blah. And I think we should all stay out of everybody's money. But this really just shows the insecurity, I think, in yourself to keep going back at Twitter. say less. Like, you literally feed into a thing that they want you to feed into by the person sent it to you in a DM. So it's not like it's a comment out where people are like, ooh, is he going to respond to it or whatever? It was a DM. So then you turned it around and made it public to where you are going to talk about it all night long. Like, that just shows you're insecure about it. It like drives me crazy to watch this poor guy like literally try to explain his life to somebody who doesn't have a picture in his like profile, you know, like you're literally explaining why you do something and why you have like this new car that's like not as nice as your old cars were and yada yada. It's so crazy to me. I thought it was stupid. I think everybody should just stop engaging with trolls. It's like ridiculous. Say less to trolls. They don't mean anything to you, and you explaining yourself like that just makes it seem like you're really insecure. Jackie, I kind of want to ask you, was this, like, I believe, a say less, or are you glad that he shared his thoughts on money? Because sometimes a lot of NFL players or NBA players don't do that after they've retired and share like their downsizing struggles like that.
So I'm definitely on team. I love this tweet thread. I get it that, you know, that he was triggered by, you know, a no-name person, but the fact of the matter is, you know, especially when you look at, I've literally seen people who are struggling to pay bills, but these Jordans come out and they're gonna go get these Jordans, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's important to put these types of things out there, not necessarily just for football players, but for the average Joe Blow. You need to figure out how to manage your money, because you can be happy with less, but you can't, my dad used to always say, don't be walking around here, you know, with Bentley taste on a Volkswagen budget. You can't do that. You got to learn how to, you know, kind of budget your money a little bit. So I actually really like this, because I see this time and time again, you know, as I'm trying to build my business and I run into people, and a girl I was talking to the other day, we were sitting down, we were talking about, you know, what she's doing versus what I'm doing. And I'm like, well, she's like, well, I can't do this and this and that. I'm like, why? She's like, I just bought this new car. You should get a new car, because it's all about how you look when you arrive to meetings. And I'm like, nah, that's not it. Like, if I can't walk into the room, that's a very LA thing, though. A lot of people feel like you need to look the part. I mean, but if you don't have the tools to play the part,
yeah, there's people
then
that
I'm
have
just
really
not,
nice cars that live at home with their parents, like, but they have like a 5 Series vehicle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it's just the whole keep up with the Joneses thing. I think that even though he was triggered by a troll, this message, unfortunately, I see this all the time. This is a message a lot of people needed to hear. So if they had to hear it, Britt, you probably don't need to hear it. That's probably why it put you to sleep. But somebody was like, you know, he got a point. I do need to stop being an idiot with my money. So I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Well, to your point, my grandma actually, it's funny that your dad said that, because I always said that I have champagne taste but beer money.
Right.
So I always have to deal with that too. But, you know, I have an 806 credit score, and I have money in savings, and I have no credit card debt, you know? So, like, I think there's a point where it's like, yeah, it's fine to like nice things and want a certain type of lifestyle. But I think in this situation, it was good that he put his family and, you know, his future first, and wanting to, you know, continue to like make sure he doesn't go broke. But I kind of just like, it just made it look like he's not even ready for that moment yet, because I just feel like he was so insecure and having to explain himself, that I think this is obviously a huge transition for him as well, because he just seemed very insecure in how he was trying to, like, how he felt, how he had to explain himself to that is actually, he doesn't even know who that person is. It just seemed like
the light bulb probably flashed on for him. Yeah, he's probably like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. And I think that happens to a lot of people as they get older, just period. You know, when I was younger and I was making roughly what I'm making now, that was too much money for me at that age to be making that. And I don't have a dime to show from those days. But at the same time, right now, like you, it took me a while to build my credit up. But now, with this pandemic, thank God I am working. But if I hadn't, I'd have been cool for 4 months, because I learned how to budget my money. So maybe I would have talked to somebody when I first got on that be financially responsible journey. I probably would have sounded a little over the top and kind of insecure, because I had just started that journey, you know, versus now that I'm at the end of it, I'm probably I might DM that person back and say, look, this is the thing, but I definitely probably wouldn't do it in public.
Right. Well, thank you for your take on Brit's take.
Thanks, Brit.
He was triggered by a troll more than he needed to be, but I think it is a valuable lesson. And I liked this Brit's takes. I know you said you weren't as heated as you were yesterday, but I think it's worth talking about, and it's a good conversation. But you guys,
because we weren't giving out participation trophies today. She only gets mad when we give out participation trophies.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, if you liked that Brits Takes, give us the money emoji in the comments or the chat. Let us know what you thought all about it. I thought it was great, and I thought it was a great show overall today, and we're going to be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you always know when we're going live, when we upload a new video. Wash your hands, and we'll see you guys 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye.